Okay. So, aloha and good morning, everyone. And you know what? Today, you know, the slide is labeled minor authorities. Okay. Well, look, there's nothing minor about them. They're just less common, less frequent. And I'm going to be honest with you, many of the things I'm going to be talking about today are going to be they're going to absolutely challenge what you're reading in books and probably hearing other teachers regurgitate over and over and over again. I'm not saying that ultimately there's not some truth, and I'll point you to that truth as we go along, but I want you to understand that these authorities were, these were really my frontier. Let me just put it that way in terms of having people that were seriously dedicated to learning what human design was for themselves and willing to work with me, one-on-one. And a lot of this way back in the beginning of my teaching human design in Kauai, that we could actually find some practical things for them to work with. So when we say minor, we are simply stating that they are less frequent, nothing other than that. And more important than anything else, if you get nothing else from today, most of you will already know what your authority is, or you should know what your authority is. But this gift, to give this gift to someone, which is, here's a place that you can go in your body, or a way in which you cannot use your mind in order to navigate your life. That's a gift that, that's something no one's ever going to forget if you give that to them. I know I will never forget the person that gave that to me. And even though they were somewhat wrong, they at least pointed me in the general direction and showed me that there was a possibility of a life where I wasn't living in the this and that of mind. And so we're going to get into some technical stuff today. We're going to get into some frequency stuff. So for some of you that are a little newer, it may actually get a little, wait, don't worry about it too much, guys. We're going to return to this over and over again, okay? But authority is just that. How do you go in your own form with no one else's fucking input, no one else's opinion, most especially your own mind, and make a decision that's correct for yourself? And you'll see it all has to do with what's fixed in your life force. What is actually there from birth to death that you can learn to use and work with. That's what it is. So we start with aura, right? You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything with it. There is no authority other than somebody else's until you start to learn what your aura is. Now, look, those are very in-depth and personal experiences of getting to learn how your frequency works in space. We're talking about a bubble. This is a bubble you cannot see, you cannot taste, you cannot feel. It gives you an illusion that you're separate from everything else, and this bubble, we learn, has a trajectory that you have no access to. It is flying through space in a straight line, and you've got just enough room to make yourself suffer in there. You can bang your head on the prison cell all day long, you ain't getting out, okay? It's really nice if you can relax, sit in your bubble, and ride through space. Huh? And remember, 2 arm lengths. It's a big circle, guys. It's 15 foot. There's a 15-foot illusion around you right now that you have some access or ability to change what's happening. And if you'll watch closely, hopefully, you'll start to see that really the only thing that you have the ability to do is fight with your own life. And in an even bigger and more arrogant context, you're fighting with life itself. Just think of it like you're trying to swim against a tidal wave. Life is going where it's going. The sooner you can get that, the better. it takes time to transfer that to someone else, but I'm going to continually hammer you guys on this because at that point you realize you're not in control. You're not. And that alone is such an incredible thing to start with that it's just funny how it seems like these things get jumped over almost, and they almost get jumped over. Oh, I'm on this, and then what's in my design? It's like, fuck. Do you understand what you've just been given? You've been given the keys to the fucking universe here. Okay, so you guys that are here, those that are around, count yourself as lucky. You know, most people are not even in a place where they could take in this information at any level. So how does it begin? We are all trained, taught, told to make decisions from where? The this and that of your fucking mind. What is school? Write down, all the good, write the line on the piece of paper, the good points on it, the bad on that. I mean, whether it's closing a sale or writing your goals on the wall or intending or wish crafting or praying for a beautiful world. I don't give a fuck, okay? If that helps you, go ahead. But if you think it's going to change anything, I really want you to get the level of arrogance you're living in. That you actually think, and I'll go genetically, I'll go biologically on you, even by the time you've had a thought. That thought occurred before you were aware of it. This is why we go to form consciousness, guys. This is why we're going to the form. The truth of the form comes from a very different place, and that truth in the form is found on what is fixed. Remember, when we're looking at a human design, we're looking at not only what's fixed from birth to death, those are the defined centers. That's why I pounded them, pounded the centers for 3 months or whatever, weeks, however many lectures. That's usually done in a module. That's usually an afternoon. I was like, no, this is really important, all right? This is not something you want to skip over in this process, okay? But when you see that you have a defined life force, and not only that, but then you have the ability from a place of awareness to step back and become a passenger, watching how your little character in the movie operates and plays. It's amazing. And then you see all of that openness, what caused you all that pain and suffering all your life becomes these places of incredible wisdom. But we all start right here, What about, what should I do? What's even worse than, you guys probably have had this experience. People will come to you and ask you what you think they should do. I have no idea. In some cases, I may punch them because it's just like I want to just shake it. What the fuck? You don't know? I have no idea what you should do. But there is a place in your body that you can go to that'll help you stay aligned and understand that you are just stardust flying through space, one of billions of grains of sand. Babies dying at a rate of 40,000 an hour. Our life on this little planet is so precarious. And we live in some illusion that we're in control of it, and it's in this illusion that we find suffering. There's another thing in human design you're going to learn about, and that I think maybe this is the right place to talk about it, is that you've got to accept your place. Most people can't accept their place. And when I mean their place, I mean this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Not, well, if I buy this and I become that, or I lose this much weight, or I dye my hair this color. Dude, you actually begin to accept yourself as you are. And you accept your limitations. You accept that you are a very fixed thing in space. And in that, there's this huge amount of relaxation that comes, and then you can laugh at all the little fuzzy bunnies jumping around looking for whatever the hell they're looking for. All right. And if you're like me, it'll be hard not to choke them. Okay, so did I miss anything?
That was really good.
Oh, thank you. I'm on a good one. Okay. Reminder. You guys should like this slide by now. Making mental decisions while flying through space at 150,000 miles an hour does have dire consequences, but could have dire consequences. And guys, you've got to really see this, guys. You really do. Is that the mind loves black and white? You'll notice the last two slides have been black and white. That's what the mind wants. This is good. That is bad. You know? Dude, without that, the mind is lost. And in human design, you end up with this basically going that way. Why? I don't know. What are you trying to do? Don't have a clue. I mean, dude, the normal world of mad is not going to, pat you on the back and say, oh, what a good boy. But you do get into situations like I am now, where people approach me and they're just in awe. They're in fucking awe. People that really know me, how reckless I am with the money, how little I care. If I have to get a tin can and a string in a tent, which is how I basically started teaching human design, if I have to go back, it doesn't matter. This is what I'm doing. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm not trying to get anywhere. And so you see that every time your mind tries to make those decisions, dude, you are throwing yourself off the trajectory, and you're throwing yourself off at a speed that is uncomprehendable to you. You're not doing anything. And the way you'll know when you're pushing on your aura bubble will be your signature. You're not self-signature. The bitterness of the projector, the frustration of the generator, the anger of the manifester, and the disappointment of the lunar beings, the reflectors. It's like, oh, you mean if I'm just feel successful being myself today, that's success as a projector, for instance? Yes, that's success. That's what it means. You were successful being you today, and that's enough. Now, it's probably not enough for the mind, but, fuck the mind. I'm going to spend a year. Yeah, I'm going to spend a year fucking the mind. Okay. Oh, here we are. At this time in our evolution, in its present state, guys, mind has become insane. I literally look at it as an invasive species, just sucking the life force out of everyone, the dogma. You should do this, follow this spiritual path, pray in this direction, light your incense, whatever, okay? Whether it's business goals, whether it's spiritual goals, whether it's, dude, anything, any moment that you think anything should be different than right now, you're screwed. It's that simple, that elegant, that perfect. And it's our time, guys. This knowledge, you're here. You're here in spite of everything that would prevent you from being here. And it's our time. It is our time to move away from this mental awareness and really return to, what is the body's awareness and the true development of what passenger consciousness could be. Now, I know that there were thousands of traditions that worked for thousands of years, and it's everything you can think of, from yoga to Kabbalah to martial arts, everything. All of those things, none of which in and of themselves are bad. But many of those things were tools to help you develop or understand, especially astrology and stuff like, the movements of energies and probability of what's going to happen, and that we are truly at a place where that is not what guides us anymore. And this is not for everyone. So enjoy your fun little time of telling everybody about human design, because it will end abruptly when about the 50th person slams the door in your face and tells you you're nuts. And this is really what you guys are being invited into, is look, are you really up for the challenge? Ding, ding, comes the 1858 Cross of Demands projector. Are you up for the challenge of form consciousness? Okay? Because if you're not, what are you doing? I mean, it is anti everything you could possibly imagine. And the place you get to is not some airy, fairy, fuzzy cruise ship where you bathe in lollipops and raindrops forever. It is a very specifically dark and melancholic place because what's there is nothing. Do you understand? Everybody's looking for more things, trying to get things, trying to become things. And where this will take you to, at least on the minds, from the mind's perspective, is to nothing. Nothing matters. My girlfriend's leaving me. Ah, that sucks. I'm getting married. Ah, well, I hope it works out. You know, I mean, it's really, you can't even pretend to get overly excited or attached to anything because you see the impermanence of everything. And you see the fact that you've never been in control, and the mind is going to fight you on that until, well, like it woke up this morning giving me a lecture about moving. I mean, it's not like it turns off. It's trying to invade my species. It's trying to be an invasive species to me, but I don't listen. Okay. So we're clear, right? This is human design. This is form consciousness. This is about how to go to the body for information instead of your mind. First, you come with the aura, how you interact, how your bubble interacts with all life, not just your life, but all life. And then inside that bubble, you have things you can trust. And the very first thing you need to learn how to trust, or at least start to experiment with, after the aura mechanics, is the authority. Okay. There are 7 possible ways that humans can make decisions without their minds. And there is a hierarchy, meaning that if you have one of these, you know, they get, you know, they get thinner as they go down. We're not going to look at these major ones today, emotional, sacral, and splenic, but they go in that order. If your emotions are defined, it's over. You're emotional. You are part of the coming awareness or the coming consciousness. If you're sacral, that's not awareness at all. That's a stupid motor that responds in the now. And it's nice to be a stupid motor responding in the now. You don't have to take any credit for it. I mean, there was no thought. It was just no. Devin maybe could share a little bit about the other day where we had to ask Joan to do something that was basically an but only for 5 minutes, and it was like trying to wash a cat. It was like, Jesus Christ, man, come on, just please, I know we just need to test this thing. I know you don't want to, but you know. And it was really funny, like that you get so energetically strong that even if you wanted to bow or give in, it gets very difficult. I mean, you can kind of try to pretend, but it doesn't work too well. And then you have like me and many of you in splenic authority. It's totally existential. We're not going to cover those today. Okay, we're going to cover the ones that are, in general, much more difficult for people to get their hands around. We have the ego authority, right? And this means that the will is defined. Okay, and that is actually becomes the authority. We'll look at this more specifically in a second. G, which is the center of the self, also not an awareness center, okay? And then we have outer or mental authority, and I know that that's a confusing one for you guys. For most, look, these 4 I'm going to do today are confusing for most human design teachers. I do not expect you to get these today unless they are you. And if they are you, then I should have already hammered you on them, and if you're confused, then you can come back and I'll hammer you on them some more. Okay, but I do want to at least give you the ability to share some with some other people, because I know many of you are really here because you've got some deep love for this information. You'd like to be able to effectively share it with other people. And, you know, I'm going to try to give you the things that I have seen actually work and not confuse people, but I'll address both. Okay? And again, we're only looking at about 7% of the planet today, what we refer to in human design as minor authorities, you know, emotional, 50% of the planet, sacral, 30% of the planet, spleen, 10%, ego manifested less than 1%. Self-projected, 2.5, whatever. Ego projected 0.5%. And then, guys, this is going to be, especially if you're working with your friends and they're going to come running to you with their charts and they're going to go, it says I don't have an authority. It says authority none. Another place I just want to kill people or choke them to death for who thought that would be a good idea to put on a chart. Ra, I'm coming to get you, brother. No, okay. So what you'll see if you look closely, it'll say no inner authority. It does not say no authority. So just remember, if you come up with a reflector or a mental projector, you're going to see inner authority equal none, or however it's written on the charts, because I barely look. I just look at the chart now. I don't look at the stuff that you can get at the top of them. But that's going to be a question. And just right now, the answer is no, you have an authority. I just need to explain to you how it works. Okay. Because you will get these calls, you will get these questions if your guides are working with people, etc. And just, dude, stop them right there. Because if not, that'll become their new blankie that they cry over or whatever. Because, I don't have an authority. Yes, you do. Okay. So here's the hierarchy of the four we're looking at today. Ego, right? Willpower. Will or not. Pretty much that simple. G authority only goes one place, guys. To the throat. It's the expression, this is me here in this moment, This is me having seen things through a pattern. Here's me telling a story. Here's me in the now. I think I got them all. Anyway, but regardless, think about how cool is it. Gee, here I am. That's the end of the sentence. It's not here I am with all this other shit like me. I mean, I haven't defined G-Center, but I mean, I'd love to have that. Here I am. That's the end of my teaching. And then mental authority, which can be the head and ajna connected, head, ajna, and throat, or ajna and throat. And again, you're going to see inner authority none, and then people will be crying and throwing fits. You can give them a quick blankie on that one. And then lunar authority, only the reflector. The effectiveness of that whole pattern thing we're going to look at today, and I'll make arguments for and against. Okay, is everyone with me so far before I actually get into these?
Little bell